Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. I think that's delivering some news that people of the state of Rhode Island have been waiting for, and today Rhode Island is moving forward with a plan to build a new state-of-the-art Washington Bridge. And as governor, my top priority has been, and our administration's top priority has been, the safety of the people who live in the state of Rhode Island, and we've accomplished that, keeping people safe. Today, we're here to announce the winning contractor for the design and construction of the Washington Bridge. The good news is that the price is well within what we budgeted. In March 2024, we first learned that the bridge was beyond repair and needed to be replaced. Back then, I said that we're going to build a bridge, a new bridge, that will be built right and that would outlast all our lifetimes. At each press conference we held since then, we've highlighted forward momentum. From finalizing the demolition schedule to securing $220 million in federal funds to identifying expert finalists for the rebuild. Steps that have gotten us closer to delivering on our commitment. In December, we said that 2 world-class bridge builders would compete for the new design. By having competition between industry leaders, we kept the cost down and the timeline tight. This was especially important for 2 reasons. One, we need to deliver a bridge to Rhode Islanders as soon as possible. And 2, we need to minimize the financial impact of this essential investment on taxpayers. Today, that competition has produced results. Walsh Construction Company will be the design-build contractor for the new Washington Bridge. Chuck Parrish, program manager at Walsh, is here today to make comments and to answer questions. Walsh is one of the top bridge builders in the country and has the experience to get the job done right. They've drawn down on their expertise to determine an industry-driven timeline of November 2028 for completion. We put incentives and penalties in place to make sure this project stays on schedule. And here's the good news about the new design. It will make traffic flow easier in both directions. It will even address some of the issues that bogged down rush hour traffic long before we closed the westbound bridge. And unlike the old bridge, we will be able to easily inspect and monitor it without key components being inaccessible. The budget we put together last year, a mix of federal grants, bonds, and state dollars, included over $700 million in resources if needed. Walsh bid set the construction contract hard cost at a very competitive $339 million. To be clear, there will be additional soft costs for inspections and potential incentives and contingencies that could make the rebuild total up to $427 million. Director Alviti will go into further detail in a moment. Because of the cost came within what we budgeted for this project, the bridge will be built at no additional cost to the taxpayers. I understand that this has been a challenging time for those who rely on the Washington Bridge, especially in the early days, before we were able to restore 6 lanes of traffic. The bridge is a part of a major artery in Rhode Island that impacts thousands of people every day. And we owe it to you to deliver a bridge that is safe and will ultimately make your life easier. And now we have a plan to do just that. I'll turn it over to Director Alviti, and then I'll come back for questions after you hear from the Director and Chuck from Walsh. Director?
Thank you, Governor. As the Governor said, this was a highly competitive procurement. It was a highly competitive process. Each company's technical proposals, American Bridge and Walsh Construction, were evaluated, scored according to criteria that was detailed in the RFP, and next, their cost proposals were scored. Those 2 scores were combined to determine the overall winner of this contract, which results in the best value contract for the state of Rhode Island. I want to acknowledge the excellence of both of these companies. The proposals were very close to each other. They were highly professional and highly detailed. It indicated to us, and it indicates to us, that a tremendous amount of time and resources went into putting forth an exceptional product on the part of both of these companies. Their proposals were so close, in fact, that the opening dates for all of the lanes, all of the traffic, and all of the exit and entrance ramps were within 7 days of one another. So our thanks to both companies, particularly to Walsh, for being so competitive through this process and giving us the benefit, and the taxpayers the benefit of that. As most people in this room know, we issued a request for information last summer. These results from that were incorporated into the RFP. But before issuing the RFP, we went through a request for qualifications process that resulted in the 2 finalists, American Bridge and Walsh. The RFP was posted as promised, and we hit all of the milestone dates we set out to hit, leading up to and including today's award announcement. We're building the bridge, as the Governor said, at no additional cost to the taxpayers. As the Governor said, the bid from Walsh to build came in at $339 million. It's an excellent bid. It's an excellent price. And it's under the funding that we already have in place to build a bridge. In all of our projects, we include soft costs. These represent total potential additional costs on each of our projects. Every one of our projects carries these. They're not always needed. On this project, it includes $34 million, or 10% contingency cost. We carry contingency funding on every single project for unforeseen circumstances. Often, we don't need to use those funds. And when we do, we rarely use all of them. But it's there if we need it. The project includes $54 million in other soft costs. These include project oversight, a professional engineering company owner's representation, inspection services, incentives, and the cost of standby towing services throughout the project. We worked hard to put a complete financing package together. I want to thank certainly the governor and the legislature for their support in making this a reality. A key piece to making this available, up to $334 million in Garvey funding. This is our ability to borrow against future federal transportation funds. Thanks to the U.S. DOT, Federal Highway Administration, our congressional delegation, we received 2 grants totaling to $221 million. That funding will significantly offset the use of the Garvey funds that we originally anticipated, saving us future debt and interest on that funding. The remainder of our financing plan includes $15 million repurposed from another federal grant, $35 million in remaining pandemic funding, and $107.6 million in the state's long-term capital projects budget. All totaled, we had $713 million available, of which we will not be needing to use all of that. Just like today's announcement, we remain committed to be on schedule as we've worked hard to bring the contractor on board. Likewise, last year, after 10 years of continued improvement in our project management, RIDOT delivered 100% of our projects on time and on budget. By matching that project management capability with Walsh's record and with their resources and history, we have an extremely high level of confidence that the new bridge will be built at the cost specified and right on schedule. To keep us on schedule, we added built-in incentives. The contractor can earn up to $10 million for opening the bridge earlier than their schedule says. Likewise, there are penalties of up to $25,000 per day that will be assessed for exceeding their project schedule. These are potential costs that have already been factored into the project budget, as I said. In closing, our goal was to provide a design and a plan to build a bridge that will carry 80,000 vehicles every day for 100 years. This contract and this design achieves that goal. It includes significant improvements to address also chronic delays that take place for decades along the 195 corridor heading west from the Seekonk line to the bridge. To do this, we, as part of this project, also widening I-195 west in East Providence and modifying 2 of the bridges that will provide additional width for new lanes. It includes a reasonable schedule and a realistic budget. and it'll be executed by the best bridge builder in the country. From an engineering, safety, and construction viewpoint, it's a solid, sound, safe, and it's designed and will be built to last 100 years. Now, we're ready to build this bridge. And I'd like to introduce Chuck Parrish from Walsh Construction, whose company, and he will be responsible for making that happen. Chuck?
On behalf of Walsh Construction, I'd like to thank the director and his team for entrusting us with the critical task of designing and building the new Washington Bridge. Walsh has operated in New England for over 3 decades, and we've built some of the most challenging bridge projects in the area. Those projects include the Memorial Bridge in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, the Commonwealth Ave Bridge, the Whittier Bridge, and the Q Bridge in New Haven, Connecticut. Our national resume includes hundreds of completed bridges of every type, which have been a great aid to us in selecting the right bridge type for the new Washington Bridge. In addition, we carefully selected our design partner, WSP, based on their long-standing history of delivering projects for the department and our successful experience with them on the Q Bridge project in New Haven, Connecticut. Our firm's ranking as the nation's largest bridge builder, and our successful 127-year track record of executing challenging projects is a testament to the thousands of skilled builders that are the lifeblood of our company. For this project, we have assembled an excellent team of engineers and builders who are ready to go and have the necessary experience to deliver this project. Many of our successfully completed bridge projects have utilized the same design-build approach that the department has chosen to implement here. On non-design-build bridge projects, the pursuit phase is largely focused solely on pricing. On this particular project, we've been able to produce real work in the 6-month competitive bid process. Our team has produced a schedule with over 2,500 activities detailing all the work that will occur. We've performed site investigation. We've met with every utility owner that will be affected by the project. We've performed survey work on site, and we've engaged in the permitting process. By performing these key activities during the bid phase, we've eliminated variables, and we've ensured schedule certainty. In addition, by being tasked with the responsibility to both design and build the new structure, we'll be able to procure materials quickly and get to work right away. In addition, we'll be able to implement state-of-the-art construction techniques and quickly to respond to any changes or new developments. Finally, the design-build approach facilitates a collaborative team process that will ensure the people of Rhode Island get the high-quality bridge they deserve. As I mentioned earlier, Walsh has built hundreds of bridges, and as a result, for the new Washington Bridge, we had a large library of bridges to select from. In selecting the new structure type, our main objective was to provide a proven structure that will last 100 years. Furthermore, we wanted to provide a structure where the critical components can be easily inspected and maintained. Fortunately, the new Chain of Rocks Bridge carrying I-270 over the Mississippi River that we completed in late 2024 was the ideal structure to utilize on this project. The streamlined, repetitive design of the structure elements on the Chain of Rocks Bridge, combined with the consistent and easily producible steel members, allowed for rapid construction with high quality. The fact that the 5,000-foot-long Chain of Rocks Bridge, which is nearly 3.5 times the length that we'll be building here on the Washington job, was completed in roughly 2 years, also gave us assurance that it was the right choice to select as a template for this project. It's not often that you get to build the same project twice or the same bridge twice, but our ability to do that on the new Washington Bridge gave us the confidence to commit to both the price and schedule that we're sure we can meet in delivering the new bridge. In closing, I'd like to again thank the department for entrusting us with the delivery of the new Washington Bridge, and we look forward to getting started today. Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck. Thank you, Chuck.
It's important that you speak into the microphone. Again, one question, one follow-up, and we'll go around. You mentioned that the bridge will carry 80,000 people. Or drivers rather, didn't the former bridge carry 96,000, or am I getting my figures mistaken?
Yeah, I'll let Peter answer that one. But yeah, the traffic count is, and we're actually continually looking at the traffic count on a weekly basis. So we have those details. So that's probably where that estimate came from.
So at the same time that the bridge just before closure, the two bridges combined were carrying a total of 96,000 vehicles a day. During that time, you remember, the Henderson Bridge was closed. So much of the traffic that while it was being constructed, was being diverted onto the highway. The permanent number and the actual number of vehicles per day is about 80,000 vehicles a day that go over this. And since the Henderson Bridge reopened, any of that traffic that was originally going to that bridge returned to that, we see as the primary reason for that.
Got it. I just have one follow-up question for you, Director. In regards to the underwater demolition, were there any unanticipated costs that have arisen since that process started, and what were those costs?
In the demolition
Yeah,
process?
the underwater demolition phase.
Now, the underwater demolition phase came to be because we made a decision last year, I think you remember we announced it, that in addition to building a brand new bridge superstructure, we made the decision to not use the existing foundations and pilings under the existing structure and to demolish the existing ones and build brand new ones for this bridge, which assures us in a higher level of surety to the folks in Rhode Island that you're getting a 100-year bridge.
So the completion date is now set at November 2028. We've asked about the load now on the eastbound side. What is the concern level now that you're going to be carrying the full bridge load on the one side for 4.5 years compared to the original timeline that was put out last year of hopefully being done at the end of next year?
So Brian, and I'll let Peter kind of fill in the blanks here, but we have weekly meetings, and I want the people to know that, on all the issues that are related to the bridge, whether it's traffic flow, whether it's accidents, whether it's safety, and the schedule that we have put in terms of inspections continue to say that it's a safe bridge to use. So I'll let, and then the other provisions that we put in with weight analysis, and so I'll let Peter kind of finish up on that question. But as I stood here a few weeks ago and said that the bridge is safe to use, unequivocally it is safe to use.
Governor is 100% right on that. We, at the outset, you know, we had two separate structural engineering companies look at that and do an assessment for us on the additional loads and whether or not they were of any concern for use during a construction period, whether it be 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or 4 year. They came back and said that bridge is safe for the amount of traffic that is being put in two directions on it. And as late as last week, we received additional, as you know, we stepped up our inspection process. We received additional inspections and another opinion, a relook at the loading capacity, and there is no change to the original assessment. The structural engineering company that did the original load assessment reaffirmed that the bridge is safe. It is good to be used for the 6 lanes of traffic that we currently have on it. And we have put in place an inspection and maintenance process that will assure that that continues to be the case for the 3 years that until 2008 when we reopened the westbound bridge.
Just a question on the Whittier Bridge project. I know Walsh had to pay the federal government $1 million fine regarding some of how the contract was worked. Was that ever brought up, or is that a concern?
Yeah, I'll let Chuck answer that question.
Thank you. It had been brought up. Everything's been fully disclosed and transparent. I think our company prides itself on high levels of ethics, and can ensure that this will be a very successful project going forward.
So in the concept art, I guess initially, or the concept of the bridge initially shown here, it looked as though the proposed exit for Waterfront Drive in East Providence was considered as part of that project. Is that the case? And if so, what went into determining keeping that additional work in there?
Yeah, so I'll let the director answer that, and maybe Chuck, if you have some additional comments, then you can provide them.
Yes, Waterfront Drive exit is still a part of the project. In fact, we've expanded the project to not only include Waterfront Drive, but to the benefit of the people in East Providence, to also add additional lanes onto the westbound 195 between the bridge and Seacock to clear up decades of traffic congestion.
You are afraid of my voice.
Yeah, they use the mic because they
use the mic.
There's people who are listening in, so that everything you
for
say,
the
Ray, is
east
going to
side,
be heard.
This is for the mayor of East Providence.
Yes.
Are you concerned about the foundation? You have gas line, a lot of kind of line going in Ocean Drive. Are you guys going to be touching that foundation, or they're going to leave it the old one the way it is?
Yeah, so I'll let the mayor take the microphone, but I also want to take this opportunity to thank him and the people of East Providence who have been impacted significantly for their patience during this time frame, and we're doing everything we possibly can to work with the mayor as we move forward to address any issues that are happening that
What
are
happened with the
causing
mayor of
issues.
Providence? I don't see it. Smiley.
Yeah, the mayor has been told, and he had a conflict that he couldn't be here, but he was invited. But I'll let the mayor take the mic on the question.
Thank you, Governor. First, I want to start off by thanking Governor, Director Alviti, Walsh, and their team for getting us a plan. I mean, we've heard some incredible news today with a timeline of November 2028, but with a $10 million incentive to get that done even quicker. And Walsh just mentioned they did a project 3 times longer than Washington Bridge, 3 times longer, and they got that done in 2 years. So I'm very optimistic about what I'm hearing here today, and that's the message we want to send out to the community and to our residents, that we are very optimistic. As far as the oil infrastructure, there's a pipeline. I don't think it's going to be impacted at all by this project. It's not even going to be touched, so I don't think that's a concern. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, my question's about funding for the bridge. Specifically, is there still confidence that we will have the federal funds? I know that the Federal Department of Transportation has put some directives on immigration policy, and we could withhold it again.
Yeah, so we're not concerned. We have signed off from Secretary Duffy on those funds, and we'll have access to those funds.
And follow-up, when in November are we expecting the bridge to be completed, like early, mid, or late?
I'll let Chuck handle that one.
November 3rd of 2028.
Let's stay with Mr. Parrish, if you wouldn't mind staying at the podium. You say the Chain of Rocks Bridge is a couple times longer than the Washington Bridge. It took 2 years to complete. Given that, why will it take a longer amount of time to complete the westbound Washington Bridge?
The Chain of Rocks was 2 years of construction. Permitting was already in hand, as was the design. On this particular job, we'll go through a full design phase, acquire permits, and then begin building it. So the 2 years is really the build window, which is what we'll have here, which is very similar to a bridge we just are getting ready to put traffic on and complete up in Mass on the Newton-Weston interchange.
Question for Director Alviti, if you'd step to the podium, please. There's clearly going to be an election for governor next year. Is it your hope to remain in your current job through the scheduled completion of the new bridge in November 2028?
It's my intention to keep building bridges as long as the governor will have me build bridges.
So that's a yes?
It is. As I said, I'll continue to build bridges as long as the governor asks me to be here.
Why?
Because what's the question? Why?
Yes, why do
Because
you hope that's your job?
Because that's my job.
That's his job.
Governor, the estimated construction cost, if you include demolition now, is about double what you thought in March of 2024, and the estimated time of completion is about double going into 2020, end of 2028 from what you thought at the beginning. Do you take any accountability for getting that initial plan so wrong?
Well, first of all, I think that we got it right. And today we're showing that we have a builder, a bridge builder that is nationally recognized. Remember, there were certain questions of whether, with the lawsuit that's going on, whether we actually would get a bridge builder of this quality, and we did. We have a time frame that is industry standard, right? I mean, we, as the director said, we tried to accelerate it, but the expertise and the industry let us know that the time frame was as we're presenting today. So as far as I'm concerned, we're in a good spot. The people in the state of Rhode Island know that the funding is there, the time schedule is there, and we have a quality bridge builder to actually execute on the project.
So can you just elaborate how underestimating both the time and the cost by half is getting it right?
Well, I don't know whether your figures are correct, but all I can say is standing here today, we have a bridge builder that is nationally recognized, who we rely on their expertise, and no one else's in terms of the time frame. So we know we're working with a time frame that meets industry standards. And as far as the cost goes, we're fortunate. I was very pleased with the $339 million, plus the additional potential cost, bringing it up to 427. The main thing for the people in the state of Rhode Island to know is, one, we kept them safe during this time frame, which was the top priority. Two, we actually have a budget that we are working within that budget, and we're not going to have to go to the taxpayers for additional costs. So we're covering it, and today's announcement really hits all the pieces that are most important to the people in the state of Rhode Island.
Thank you. And to follow up on Patrick's question, so by my math, up to 427 for the rebuild, 97 million for the demo, 46 million for the emergency repairs would be 570 million. Is that your new estimated total cost for the Washington Bridge project?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then the demolition is supposed to end in December, but the new construction project will begin work in July. So when does construction actually begin? Is that January of 26?
I'll let the experienced person here answer that question, so I'll
Thank
bring
you.
Chuck to the microphone.
So construction services activities have already begun. During the last 6 months, we weren't just putting together a price, we put together a design as well, a partial design. Our technical proposal probably has 3,600 pages of calculations and drawings and details in it, and that's not fully complete yet. So we're going to begin today. We have people working on this that are going to continue to develop that design, acquire permits, address utility conflicts and issues. There will be real tangible work going on. We'll be assembling equipment, materials, and a workforce. And all that's part of the process that goes into the start of construction. Day one, when you see a shovel go into the ground, isn't the beginning of the hard work. So we look forward to that process, and that'll continue. And it's a competition. We want this done as quickly as you do.
But just so I'm clear, are you starting to build it off-site and then bringing it in, or are you waiting until the demo ends in December and that's when you'll start the physical reconstruction?
There will be materials being produced and fabricated ahead of December. It'll start, there's a whole timeline and there's bridge bearings, there's bridge beams, there's precast concrete elements, and as soon as they're designed, we have fabricators ready to go to start building them.
Back to funding. Under the financing strategy, there's nearly $108 million listed from the state's capital plan fund. Last summer, we were told only $45 million would be coming from that. When did that change?
All right, so the budget, I think we initially had about $85 million that was reserved for remember, this is an 80% federal funded, 20% state funded. So we're within that scope right now, and we don't expect the need to go over considerably that number. So it's going to be, we're in a safe territory relative to that issue.
And what's the plan for the remaining dollars that were put aside from this project that won't be used or might not be used?
Well, I think that's part of the good news today, right, is that because the question had been asked, will the Washington Bridge construction impact future improvements to our infrastructure. And right now I can say, and I think that I've talked to the director about this before many times over the last few weeks, but yeah, we're on schedule with the other projects. And so those dollars will just flow into the plan that we have to improve infrastructure in the state of Rhode Island.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For Director Alviti, you mentioned inspection services are included in these costs. What will be different about these inspections to ensure they don't miss any critical issues that inspections have previously?
The inspections that we are doing have been stepped up in order to assure the continued safe operation of the eastbound bridges that are carrying all of the traffic now. We've not only increased the number of inspections that we do, but also the content of them, and we have added automated systems that monitor and inspect the bridge on a real-time basis throughout this entire process. So we're providing an exceedingly high level of safety to the operation of the existing bridge.
What was the cost for the other bid? What was it that made Walsh stand out?
The other bid was, I believe, $389 million. And the difference in cost and the number of points assigned to cost is what made the difference between the two. On a technical basis, they were within a couple of points of each other.
And we posted that.
And we posted.
Yeah, that's been posted now, so you can go to the details of the other bid in comparison. Yep, thanks.
Oh yeah, right over there near, next to that light, under that light, there's a box, if you see it plugged into there. Thank you.